My name's Bella. So I am a Welcome Team Program Coordinator. So essentially what I do is I pretty much stay physically at CASA unless I'm at the van waiting for people to be released. So, people are released Monday through Friday from the detention facility. So I'll either be there waiting for people or I'll be here waiting to welcome people. So what I do is I provide logistical support, number one. So I'll give necessities like food, water, shoelaces, chargers, temporary phones to use, and then above that, navigate travel situations for people, communicate with sponsors, do other logistical support with like donors and our other in detention support programs. But the bulk of what me and the other Welcome Team Program Coordinator do is just physically assist people once they're here and then help them get on their journeys to their sponsors.
Do you want to answer how did Casa de Paz get started?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So Casa de Paz started in 2012. It originated in like a small one-bedroom apartment. So at the time, that was enough space to welcome people who are being released. I believe it was like one release a week, and so you would know, and at that time too, it was, family members would come, maybe stay at Casa at the apartments for a few nights, or the person would stay for a few nights, and it was more like individualized hospitality. And then, as the need grew, this house was bought, and then Andrea took over, I believe it was 2021. Yeah, so we do get a lot of languages here. To navigate that, we use a lot of Google Translate, hand signals, facial expressions, things like that. We've had situations as well where people were speaking languages that weren't on Google Translate, so then you're using images, you're getting very creative. But honestly, I would say for the most part, I feel like the differences in languages are more of a positive than a negative. I feel like you can learn so much about a culture or a person from the language that they're speaking, and I think too it's really cool to watch how much people emphasize connecting with each other, even with the language barrier. So to see people, going through the lengths of using Google Translate with each other, I think it's really cool to see, or people teaching people different words in your languages. I think it actually opens up more pathways than it closes here at CASA, so I really appreciate some of the language barriers. I remember one time we had a guest, and as people were leaving, we were saying, "Good luck, have a good flight," and I think he thought that meant goodbye, and so he approached me before he left, and he went, "Have a good flight," and it just means so much because there's the effort in that, and there's, you don't have the resources or the ability to fully understand a language, but it's just the effort that they're putting in. Yeah. I'll never forget that. That was the cutest thing ever, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think is one thing we get wrong from an outside perspective about immigration?
We have this idea of, again, the two options, the good immigrant and then the bad immigrant. And it's all just black and white. There's no deeper understanding of anyone. You talk to people and it took them 8 months to get to the border. And a lot of people cross through asylum, for example, but it's because a lot of people are dealing with things, where they're coming from. And I think just having that understanding of what people are going through, honestly, in general, in general walks of life, because as people come through here, you're talking to them like they're a normal human, which they are, and it's not focused on their backstory. It's not focused on the things that they've gone through, in a sense that when you talk to them, you have no idea what they've gone through unless they do decide to open up. And so I think understanding that there's more to people than, what meets the eye, and that, these are the strongest people you'll ever meet, in my opinion. So that's something. Yeah.
How has the way current politics are right now, has that affected you guys' operations? Are you getting less people because of that? Are you getting more? Kind of like walk me through that as well.
Personal interest and how it's driving things, like personal interest in terms of the facilities making money, and then also political interests in meeting quotas and saying, you know, we've been detaining this X amount of people, maybe not saying wrongfully detaining X amount of people or releasing X amount of people after a certain amount of time, but it's just keeping things full for logistical profit, and then also I feel just to enhance that like political scare tactic of what's going on. So that has absolutely changed a lot of things. Yeah. Especially now, like it's easy to feel like very helpless with everything going on, but recognizing that small acts of kindness are so important. When people come through CASA, a small act of kindness, like giving them shoelaces, feels more impactful sometimes than giving them an avenue to get to where they're going, you know?
When I first contacted Casa de Paz, they made it clear that their main priority was to take care of their guests. And I got to see a little bit of this in action as soon as my interview with Bella had ended. A man, whose name I will not disclose due to safety reasons, came in to Casa de Paz and used it as a pit stop between the detention facility he had been held at for just under a month and his final destination. When he came in, he had a slice of pizza, he enjoyed an ice-cold Coke, and we all sat down and talked about the experiences of being an immigrant at these times.
Camino.
Sí. ¿Y a dónde se va? ¿A Glenwood Street?
A Glenwood Spring. Sí, de
¿Cuánto
allá.
es? ¿Como 4 horas?
Sí, ya vengo, son 3 horas.
Como 3 horas.
3 horas. Se ve pequeño, pero hay mucho trabajo. No trabajas específicamente allí, sino de allí corremos para Aspen y las Mamas.
Oh, Aspen, no, pues ahí sí ahí.
Sí, pues ahí son 45 minutos. Sí, me sacaron un caso del 2006, de hace ya 18 años. Y yo siempre he estado volando, siempre voy a México, voy y vengo, y nunca había pasado esto. Nunca me habían detenido por ese caso. Precisamente hoy en diciembre volví a volar, yo confiaba que pues, yo he volado tanto tiempo y no me he metido en problemas, no tengo problemas. Y pum, me salió ahí que este caso del 2006, ¿qué pasó aquí? ¿Qué hiciste? Le dije, oye, pues me pasó hablando de un caso de así. Yo he volado tanto tiempo y nunca me habían preguntado este caso, o ya lo han preguntado, le dije, más bien ya lo han chequeado, porque mira cuántas veces he volado yo, está mi pasaporte. No, es que no todos hacen el trabajo bien. Y digo, ok, no, pues está bien. Y ya querían que les llevara pruebas del caso, me dieron un mes de chance para llevarles pruebas, pero la corte ya no las tiene. Entonces tuve que agarrar una abogada para que fuera más creíble, para que a ella le creyeran. Y igual ella metió papeleo y todo y pues no había pruebas ya del caso. No me las quisieron dar y a ella tampoco. Sí, hay muchas personas ahí de hecho que sí están aplicando a asilo y eso y sí. Pero sí, lo que se oye ahí, eso es lo que se oye, que están muy duros ahorita, no están dejando salir casi a nadie. Están muy duros. Están deportando mucha gente.
Sí, es lo que hemos estado escuchando, que deportan mucha gente.
Por eso que venían de Kentucky, dicen que ya no cabían allá, por eso los mueven, los están moviendo para acá. Pues, bueno, a mí lo que me trajeron pues, fue ICE, me trajeron al aeropuerto, me trajeron pues, especialmente a mí, se puede decir. Y pues se portaron muy bien conmigo, hablándome muy bien, y no te preocupes, mira que está bien, y bueno. Llegué, pues me echaron a mi celda, me trataron muy bien a la gente ahí. ¿Cuál es su número por aquí, güey?
No,
¿Podemos tomar una
Casa
foto
Paz.
con su playera?
sí, casa de Paz.
Sí, es la
¿Le
moda.
podemos tomar una foto con su playera?
Claro que sí.
Así nada más si quiere ponérsela encima.
¿Así?
Oh, yeah, oh, sí. Horizontal.